Howard Dean was interviewed in the mainstream media recently in regards to Tulsi Gabbard making the point that the investigation regarding Assad's chemical weapons has not happened yet. And she wanted to wait until the UN had done their investigation before we acted any. Congresswoman from Hawaii. And Howard Dean, I don't know if you remember Howard Dean, he used to be DNC chair a while ago. He was the guy that when he was running for president did the woo, and they basically just gave him the axe for it. I mean, if he'd have tried that shit, in the last election, I guess he would have gotten a pass. I mean, we've got the pussy grabber in chief, so, but the Democrats, I guess they can't get away with a woo. But, Howard Dean back in the day, he used to be a little bit more progressive. But, of course, now he is very mainstream, centrist, neocon Democrat who immediately just got offended. So I got a video. I want you to take a look at it, and then we'll talk about it.
Investigation for these horrific chemical weapons attacks. I'll be the first one to denounce him, but the key is now with President Trump's reckless military strikes last night. It flew directly in the face of the action that the UN was working on at that time to launch an independent investigation, to find out exactly what the facts are, who was involved and who was responsible.
That is Hawaii Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. She's an Iraq vet and member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, and she's casting doubt on the president's claim that the Syrian government was indeed behind the chemical attack that killed as many as 100 people last Tuesday. Let's bring in Howard Dean, former Vermont governor, former DNC chair, and an MSNBC contributor, and Republican strategist Susan Del Percio, both front and center right here. Good to have you guys. Howard, how do you respond to Tulsi Gabbard?
I think it's outrageous. There's a long, well-known history, both in our Intelligence Committee, Amnesty International, Doctors Without Borders. Every single one of these agencies has said that Assad is using chemical weapons. He's a barbarian. He's murdered 500,000 of his own people. I can't imagine how you could make a statement like that, especially being on the Foreign Relations Committee. I can't imagine what could possibly have been going through her head.
And to that end, you put a tweet out there. I'm going to read it to everybody, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you said that Gabbard should not be in Congress, that this is a disgrace. All she's asking for is proof, though. Is that a bad thing?
If you're on the Foreign Relations Committee and you haven't seen the proof in the last 5.5 years that Assad is a butcher and used chemical weapons, there's something the matter with you.
Okay, so Howard Dean just blows my mind. Let's just do a little backstory on the two of them. This is a man, and from now on, we need to stop calling him Howard Dean and call him Coward Dean. Because this guy got a deferment from Vietnam because he's back. He's poor back. Meanwhile, he went to Yale. He went on skiing trips. He used to pour concrete. Apparently the back problem's not really a problem, except, I can't go to Vietnam because my back is scared. And meanwhile, on the other side of it, Tulsi Gabbard, who recently came back from Syria with stories of woe, telling truth to power, truth to media, that there are so many different factions and they're all fighting each other and the civilians are being caught in the middle in Syria. Not only that, but she is an Iraq war vet. She is a badass. She's smart, educated, experienced war vet. And this guy, Coward Dean, is giving her a hard time about wanting to wait until the investigation is over with by the UN before we go in and invade another country. Where's our memory? 2003. Let's go to war in Iraq. Oh, Saddam Hussein has got weapons of mass destruction. 2 years later, turns out he didn't have the weapons of mass destruction. Okay, well, can we get out? Oh, no, the country's in complete disarray. We got to stay. So what are we going to do? We're going to do a little regime change again, going to take out Assad, basically give the country to ISIS, to Al-Qaeda, take out their leader, let all the factions have a big, huge civil war, Meanwhile, we have a military vet who has seen this firsthand. A lot of carnage. I can't imagine what she's seen. And she's saying, let's have an investigation first. Find out what really happened. Did Assad do it? I mean, there's a lot of people out there that believe that Assad didn't do it. If you do it just a little logical thinking, I can see where they come up with that conclusion. Assad is winning his civil war. He's got the military backing of Iran and Putin in Russia. He's got all the cards. He's got his huge military force. And he is winning this revolution. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's a different story for a different topic. Personally, I think the guy is just a horrible guy. But going in and doing another regime change is going to throw this country into this huge cocked hat. It's going to turn into a brand new Iraq that we're going to stay in for the next 15, 20, 30, 50 years. I mean, we're still in Afghanistan. We've been there for 16 years. 4 more years we get to go watch. I don't really get to go watch, you know what I mean? Iraq, we've been there since 2003. We're never leaving there. Ever. Ever. George Orwell was right. You got the CIA watching us through our television, listening to our phone calls, NSA doing the same thing. You got a war in the Middle East going on forever. In the book, in 1984, it was East Asia and Eurasia. We're always battling it out, but it was always somewhere else. So we didn't see it, so we didn't question it, as long as the war kept going. I mean, I'd call George Orwell Nostradamus because he seems to have he had a pretty good idea what was going to happen in the future. And it's playing out just like the book right now. Manufactured consent from our media, constantly praising our weapons of mass destruction, our weapons, our military might. Don't talk about the dead bodies, just about the strength of our military. We're manufacturing consent. Soon as a bombing run happens, either they don't talk about it if it was bad, or if it was something that they could play off with a good country tune in the background going, America, they'll do it. But we have Howard Dean giving Tulsi Gabbard a hard time for being rational. Let's have an investigation. Let's find out what happened. Was it Assad that chemically bombed his own people? I mean, I can tell you right now, they say it's sarin, but you see all the pictures. Sarin gas makes your skin bubble over. Violent, debilitating vomiting and puking. Your bowels just evacuate. It is some nasty stuff. Meanwhile, you see the pictures of the guys out there hosing people down with water. They're wearing like masks and gloves. They don't have the full body gear on. Now you see some pictures with the full body gear on, and then others you don't. You know, you got a doctor saying, oh, we've got all these sarin gas people in, but you can call me anytime and we can talk about it. It's like, you're a doctor and you've got a huge sarin attack and hundreds of people to take care of, but you're not so busy that you can't tweet about it. You can't make some phone calls and you can do a little propaganda video. I think an investigation is in order. I think Tulsi Gabbard is absolutely right. And I think that Howard Dean is an asshole. And he is a coward. Draft dodging, little mealy mouth bitch. How dare he say anything derogatory about somebody that's actually served, who's actually been in the Middle East. Howard Dean, you need to go out to the cabin in the woods with Hillary Clinton and you guys could build a campfire and sing fucking Kumbaya. Don't come around here with your bullshit anymore. Hey, this is Antoinette from Transistor Rodeo. If you like what you saw here, please subscribe for more videos and content, and you can follow me on Twitter at Transistor Rodeo.